For this assignment, determine whether the situation below describes a measure of center or a measure of variation. Then describe which type it is. When we're looking for measures of center, we know that we're going to be describing something that's typical or average. I know that we're going to be talking about mode when I see a word like most frequent, and I know that the mode is the value that we see the most. Remember that the median value is the value in the middle, and in this case, they're using exactly those words, the middle value. Mean, another word for mean is average. So if I'm looking for the average, I know that I'm going to be finding the mean. So focus on those keywords. For measures of variation, we have range, interquartile range, and the mean absolute deviation. Looking at the example that they provide for range, they use the word range. So if I see that word, I know that the measure of variation that they're applying is range. For the interquartile range, you're going to have to read the passage a little bit more carefully. Here it says that the heights of the players on a basketball team varies from 6.5 inches from the median. And remember that the interquartile range is the difference between Q3 and Q1. The mean absolute deviation is going to be comparing values or how they vary, but this time compared to the mean. And remember that another word for mean is average. So here it says that scientists find that the lengths of slots vary 5.5 inches from the average. So I know I'm referring to the mean absolute deviation. Looking at example 1, the most frequent score on an earth science quiz was 86%. Since they're talking about the most frequent, I know that it's the value that I see the most. So we're referring to mode, and mode is a measure of center. For the remainder of the problems, focus on the keywords, look back at the examples, decide if it's a measure of center, a measure of variation, and then once you make that decision, make sure that you tell me if it's a mode, if it's a measure of center, whether it's the mode, medium, or mean, and if it's a measure of variation, whether it's the range, the interquartile range, or the mean absolute deviation.